Welcome back to Let's Play Higurashi, Himatsubushi. So yeah, welcome back again. I just uploaded on my main channel the third episode of Series 2 of my random Vocaloid clips. This has literally nothing to do with this LP though. Just thought I'd say that. It doesn't even have any clips in it that reference any LPs from the VN channel. It's like I've got an idea for a reference for this one I can do for the next episode whenever I get around to that. Because get this, right? It took a whole freaking year more or less to make episode 3. And it wasn't because it was like, oh, it took so much time to edit. Although that was the case with 1 or 2 clips. This freaking chords one took forever because it was an 8-minute long clip. 8 minutes! And I had to do the lip movement. It was just so tediously time consuming, that one. But the real reason was simply I just couldn't be asked for the most part throughout the year, or didn't have time to get around to it. Shit like that. Because like when I'm recording for my main channel, I'm always switching between consoles. Like, okay, GameCube for Pokemon and Wind Waker, PS2 for Final Fantasy X, and now PS3 for Resident Evil. It's a big clusterfuck. While with this one, it's just like Higurashi. Yeah, just Steam, that's it. Can record it directly, none of that freaking having to use the capture card, save that, and then, like, wait for it to freaking save, and then edit it, and then save it again, which takes a lot longer. And besides, with LPing this, the file sizes for the Higurashi LP are pretty kind of small compared to the other LPs. Anyways, just a bit of a ramble there. In case any of you are somehow interested in my Vocaloid series thing, just thought I'd bring that up. Anyway, saying that in a quiet voice, he exits the car without an umbrella, careful not to make any noise. Ooishi leaned over, indicating the other side of the thicket. And you know, go back to that Vocaloid thing, it took like a year to get around to like editing, alright? Like made the first 4 or so episodes early in the year, and the rest more or less in the past few months. So it took me that long to get around to that, right? But just put this in perspective, right? There still isn't any other Ants Rock released other than the first Ants Rock. It's been months. What the hell? Well, I kind of assume, like I point out, this right here, the Umineko Ants Rocks. That was probably what they're working on, and that's probably why there is a delay. Maybe they plan on releasing them all at once. I don't know. But it's taking quite some time, isn't it? Anyway, Ooishi leaned over, indicating the other side of the thicket, and revealing that we haven't gone over the word of the day. Put the microphone down. Honbu headquarters. Always a random word for the day there, isn't it? You was pointing to a prefabricated shed and a car that was parked beside it. The car looked obviously well cared for. It wasn't a vehicle that had been left there for several years. What's that shed? It contains equipment used by the forestry service. I heard that they don't go near it except during the summertime. Does that car belong to somebody from the forestry service now? Dunno. It doesn't look like an official vehicle though. Like she was playing it cool, but my nervousness was gradually increasing. Just in case, saying that Ooishi returned to the car. I thought he was going to get an umbrella, but he had grabbed the onboard radio instead. You know, also at a thought, right? This arc will probably be completed before the end of the year, I imagine. And I'm like thinking, for the first Ants Rock, I think I'll start that in the new year rather than going straight to it, because it's like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, I suppose. because like it's kind of chaotic having to record like one part every 2 days. I haven't really got around to the New Year recording video thing as much because, well, I've only like, the closest I've got to it so far is I've wrote a song, I haven't recorded it yet, and that would just be for the end of the video. And you know how I'm like with the New Year videos nowadays, they're like almost an hour long essentially. They're like a freaking album of music made by me. And I've only like edited together like the Parasite Eve 2 and Sims Busting Out clips, which takes up, I can't remember how many minutes, takes up a few minutes. So there's like that sort, and then it's just like when I go for the Higurashi one, how much overboard will I do with inserting clips from this LP, like from each arc essentially. And just like if I started on the first dance rock, I'd have to feel like a compulsion to add at least one clip for that. So yeah, we'll see though, we'll see. Anyways. Oh, this is Ooishi. Do you read? Greetings, greetings. Yes, this is the only SP. Ooishi-san, we read you loud and clear. Over. I'm currently in front of the Forestry Services equipment shed. Not the one in the direction of Ooishi. The one in Tatsukino. If you head there for a minute out. Affirmative, copy that. There's some suspicious people in the shed. Proceeding to investigate. If you don't hear back from me in 5 minutes, get in touch with the local police. To the station and have them send a cruiser as soon as possible. If you would, please. Understood. Well then, shall we go take a look? Since he was first confined here, he had heard the sound of a car multiple times, so he just thought the far-off sound was more of the same. However, the reaction from his captors was, until now, something he hadn't seen before. They jumped, reacting as if shocked by a jolt of electricity, and pressed against the window, cautiously peering outside. Stopped. Somebody from the Forestry Service. This is bad. Nah, looks like a cop to me. One of the captors lifted the boy by his collar and pressed a blade against his cheek. Hey kid, keep quiet for a bit. I think you know this, but if you try and shout, there'll be problems. Toshiki Inagai was sure that the doctor had reported things to the police. He had felt relief when he thought that he was saved, but not imagining that his captors would resort to violence when they were cornered. That idea remained uneasy. What do we do? Gotta buy time. Take the kid and slip out of the back. We'll meet back here when the heat's off. One of the perpetrators grabbed the boy by the collar and forced him to stand. Of course, Toshiki Inagai tried to resist by feigning that his illness had been aggravated by his rough treatment, but his captors paid no heed. Bang! 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 The door was violently banged upon. Maybe that's Ooishi. Excuse me! Hello! Bang! 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 Oh, was banging on again. Banged on again. Toshiki Inagai hesitated for a moment to respond to that voice by yelling. However, while he was being indecisive, his mouth was covered, taking that option away from him. The leader of the captors waved at the other group to let her go. The younger perpetrator nodded in response, and while keeping the boy's mouth covered, started heading towards the back door. Oh, do you need something? How do you do? This is the police. Would you mind opening the door? This sudden rain has us in a bit of trouble. I'll just open. The moment the lock was undone, Ooishi forced it open, and with a gleam of menace in his eyes, he pushed the man aside as he stepped into the room. Then, in the small and empty room, he was able to quickly discern that the boy he was looking for was nowhere to be seen. I heard there was an equipment shed for the Forestry Service, but there's nothing here at all. There's nothing inside the room that would indicate this was an equipment shed. There was only a mountain of blankets, indicating that somebody was sleeping here, alongside empty food packets strewn about. It's been empty for some time now. Never seen no equipment stored around here. This is a Forestry Service building, isn't it? Are you from the Forestry Service? How about ya, police? The two of them glared at each other suspiciously. Both Ooishi and the man steadfastly refused to reveal their identities before the other did. The man, judging from the sharp look in Ooishi's eyes, realized that it was a bit hard to talk his way out of this one. No matter what he says, the most time he could buy would probably be only a few dozen seconds. Only the sound of rain filled this tense moment. Just then they heard the sound of a struggle from far off. Ooishi had a hunch. There was no doubt that Akasaka, who was circling around back, had run into the perpetrators who were trying to slip away. So we're gonna cut to Akasaka. As Ooishi thought that, the man in front of him reacted a moment faster. The man swung with an attack that was far more intended to obscure Ooishi's vision rather than actually hit him in the face. Seizing his opportunity, the man aimed a kick at Ooishi's groin without any hesitation. Dick move, literally! But he missed his mark and was unable to land that critical blow. The man trying to pin Ooishi grabbed him by the base of his neck with both hands and fiercely tried to push him back. Down. But as Ooishi fell backwards, as if kicking the man upward, he dug his foot into the man's midsection. With that leg acting as a fulcrum, the man was flung by the falling Ooishi as if by a circle throw. The two of them squared off in the pouring rain. Isn't this interesting? You wanna go? Ooishi, as if trying to cheer himself on, grinned smugly. He then stood up while brushing the mud off himself. I can't remember, was it stated at some point that Ooishi knows a bit of judo or something like that? Even though he countered the assault, Ooishi was getting up rather awkwardly compared to the man who he threw, who swiftly sprang to his feet. Ooishi-san, hurry! Akasaka's voice rang out from the distance. Judging from the distress in his voice, he was already engaged in a fight and wanted Ooishi to reconvene with him. Ooishi's hands were full as well. Akasaka-san! Sorry, but can you wait a bit? The man raised both fists into a stance that hinted at him being acquainted with karate or some other form of martial arts. Of course, Ooishi, as an officer of the law, was decently versed in judo. Yeah, it was judo. He also had the moxie to have been through his fair share of fights before. Because of that, he could tell that the man in front of him was quite a bit better at fighting than he was. Ah, damn it! Thinking that this was going to be easy just because the order came from the Sonozaki family to release the hostage had been a big mistake. You're pretty good. It's been a while since I got this work done. Ooishi played out the situation like it was no sweat. His opponent, seeing his attitude, took that to mean that Ooishi wasn't going to go down easily. The man wildly charged forward, attempting to grab Ooishi. If the man managed a successful clinch from his low stance, Ooishi would be tackled to the ground and end up being mounted. It was something you saw often when children fought, but it really was a bad position, since you couldn't do much once you were in it. Ooishi, responding to that move, also lowered his stance to collide with the man head-on. The moment they clashed, Ooishi grabbed the man's label. As he yanked the label upwards, he smashed into the man's solar plexus with the elbow of the saber. It was a move from Ooishi's own personal brand of brawling judo. He then grabbed on with his free hand and attempted to throw his opponent with both hands. But the man lowered his center of gravity and swung his arms in a large arc, entwining them with Ooishi's. Not only that, but he had forced both of Ooishi's elbows to the outside, and Ooishi, now in an awkward position, was in danger of exposing his back with his hands still clutching the man's chest. This guy practiced Aikido or grappling, didn't he? Ooishi cursed the fact that his fingers were twisted into the man's shirt and couldn't get away, releasing his grip. But he was still in the awkward position of being bent over. And to top it off, at zero range, the man was able to read Ooishi's movements completely as he tried to squirm his way into a better position. And then took the palms of his hands and swiftly clamped them over both of Ooishi's ears. Ah! Grabbing the ears in any other martial art except for self-defense was basically forbidden. Karate and Judo didn't recognize it as a legal technique. It was that much of a simple and dangerous attack. Ooishi raised both his hands as he tried to reflectively clutch at his own ears. But before that could happen, the man wrapped his arms around Ooishi's neck. His thick biceps clenched firmly around the base of Ooishi's neck like a vice. Ooishi instinctively thought he was going to be killed. After all, it wasn't hard to believe that a man like this, who was accustomed to fighting could crush his opponent's neck from this position. But his opponent didn't do that. He had chosen to keep his hold and force Ooishi to lose consciousness. That's why Ooishi at that moment, even though his face was twitching, was grinning widely. Even though his opponent had a chance to kill him, he didn't choose to. He was thinking, this guy has no intention of killing me. However, even though that might be the case, the man's hold on his neck was by no means gentle. In no time at all, Ooishi's consciousness began to fade. After the experience of being taken down countless times in judo during his student days, Ooishi was utterly resigned to the fact that it was over. Akasaka was finally recovering from the intense pain of being kicked in a rather sensitive area. I guess he didn't protect his balls the way Ooishi did. He had bumped into the captor carrying the boy by the back entrance. He'd seen Toshiki Inagai's picture plenty of times, but wasn't able to immediately ascertain if the boy in front of him was the real deal. What with his mouth covered in packing tape. Also with his limited experience, it wasn't hard for him to panic over how to deal with the situation. Of course, the perpetrator didn't overlook this momentary lapse. His kick landed squarely in a critical spot with Akasaka not even having time to call for help. If he did, it would sound very high-pitched, I imagine. As the man flung the boy over his shoulder, he headed towards the front of the shed. Upon hearing Ooishi's bellowing voice, he gave up on going that direction. He then dashed off towards the forest, as if the weight of the boy slung over his shoulder wasn't even there. Akasaka was lost for a moment. Meeting up with Ooishi, who was fighting with the enemy, was by far the safer option. But he couldn't just lose sight of the fleeing man. Akasaka stood up and chased after the captor's back. He ran through a short thicket, branches and fallen leaves crushing underfoot. They're back in Hinamizawa, maybe. I mean, that's clearly Hinamizawa, isn't it, that background? The tips of branches raked and clawed at any small scratches inscribed themselves on his body after another. Without the E, he kept on stepping into puddles and mud, and his shoes were soon filled with murky water. Akasaka traveling through this unexplored forest was, even though this was an emergency situation, extremely unpleasant. Stop! This is the police! As he said that, he regretted it immediately, as it was but a waste of breath. There wasn't a thief in the world that would politely stop when told to by the police. True that, isn't it? Like, stop! It's like, no, because then you'll arrest me. It's like, this one, Lee Evans joke. Just like, going on about, like, how, police sirens seem kind of redundant. It's like an alarm for criminals, essentially, isn't it? It's like, we're coming! It's like, well, I better be leaving there. No. Just like, that's true, man. Just like, oh shit, the police, just go. If they give it silent, just creeped up on it and be like, fuck. Anyways, to a city boy like Akasaka, running through this forest was an odious task. However, it must have been no easy task either for a man carrying the ransom. No gained no lost ground in his pursuit. Akasaka, upon realizing that, gained a bit of composure. Just keep on chasing him. We were running in the same conditions. In fact, the man running was with an awkward stride was at far more of a disadvantage. They couldn't run forever. Eventually, he definitely tripped and fall. As long as he was being hounded, he would definitely stumble. And soon his wish was fulfilled. Whoa! The man who had stepped in something and lost his balance was no longer able to bear the weight of the boy, dropping him. He stepped in shit. Probably not. I mean, it is muddy from the rain, so I imagine he probably tripped over mud or something. Akasaka, in all honesty, didn't care about the perpetrator at all. Just as long as he could ensure the safety of Toshiki Inagai. Then he rolls down the frickin' mountain or some shit. It's like, damn it! So if the perpetrator ran off by himself, it was perfectly acceptable. But it seemed that Toshiki Inagai was important to the man as well, and didn't elect to just run away empty-handed. Akasaka didn't know what to do in this kind of situation. His first priority should probably be to ensure the safety of the boy, subduing his captor being less important. Grappling with the perpetrator wasn't something he planned on, but most likely it was either do or die. Akasaka's moment of indecision proved to be fatal. The man aiming right between, or rather for, both of Akasaka's eyes, struck out with a jab. Now you're fighting dirty! Not wanting that, Akasaka raised both his hands to shield his face. At that moment, the man kicked at his unguarded midsection. The pain almost felt like his vital organs were being squeezed out of his body, but he latched onto his opponent's leg. But his opponent didn't hesitate one bit. Leading with his seized foot, the man jumped at Akasaka, applying pressure and pushing him down. Akasaka was unable to withstand that and fell, but under no circumstances was he letting that leg go. Put him in the ankle lock! The two men fell together in a tangled heap. The man was separate to pull his leg free from Akasaka, but having fallen in an awkward position, was unable to. The two of them rolled around on the ground, floundering about, trying to gain an advantage. Akasaka was holding onto his opponent's knee with both hands, and that opponent, who had complete freedom to move his upper body, were in two completely different situations. The man gained a positional advantage on Akasaka, who was still latched onto his leg and couldn't move away, and pounded full force on his head with both his fists. Not only that, he found a rock nearby and beat it against Akasaka's skull. Ow! Fuck. Ow! Jesus Christ! The difference between being hit with a fist and being hit with a rock was vast. I'd imagine so. I've been hit in the head with a frickin' brick once, thrown at me, and yeah, just like, if it was like someone picked up a rock or a brick and bashed you repeatedly in the head, you'd probably die. Akasaka quickly thought of letting go of the man's leg to free his hands to protect his head. But if he let go here, the man would get away. If he didn't dig in here, I think it would be for naught. But your head, man! The boy he was trying to save was right there. He's going to save him and go back to Tokyo. If he could do that, then it was goodbye to this freakish village. Bam! Crack! Fud! And looking, I could tell my forehead had split open and was gushing blood. But I didn't let go of the man's leg. How could I? I won't let go! Mustn't be a very strong rock, because seriously, I don't know, if someone hit you repeatedly in the head with a freaking rock, wouldn't that be fatal? Or at the very least, it'd knock you the fuck out. When the man realized that no matter how much he beat my head, he wasn't getting away. He used both his hands to grab my throat as if to crush my windpipe. I pulled my head back as a slight form of resistance, but it was of no use. The man's hands enveloped my neck and began to crush it like a vice. Much like what happened to Ooishi then. It was less about the pain of not being able to breathe, so much as it was choking so hard I felt like I was going to throw up. Well, if he picks in his face, that might make him let go. It felt like my stomach was going to turn itself inside out, but I could only endure it. Damn it, damn it, damn it! My throat hurts! I won't let go! I can't let go! I didn't want to be here. I wanted to resolve this and go back to Tokyo. Go back to Tokyo and talk to Yuki, all about her unborn child. We're going to talk about our bright future! I had no intention of loosening my grip. However, it loosened just a bit and the man's leg came free. The man kicked as hard as possible and I tumbled backwards. My knee was spinning and I was unable to get up right away. Well, his head would most certainly be spinning. No, I couldn't even put any strength into getting up in the first place. Even so, I couldn't back down. If I let him escape now, his chance would never come back again. Even just catching their scent was nothing short of a miracle. If we weren't able to get the minister's grandson back here, there wouldn't be an old chance. The man tried to drag the boy to his feet, but the kid was displaying some unexpected resistance, allowing me to get up unnoticed. I grasped a rock the man had just beat me over the head with. Now it's my turn! Ah! The rock should be able to supplement what meager strength I had left, adding more than enough to my power to my attack. My fist still wrapped around the rock, dug into the side of the man's torso. It seems like it hurt him quite a bit. The man rolled around for a bit, clutching his side. Doesn't have as much endurance. Freed from the man's grip, the boy hid behind me. Well, to be fair, he had me. While he did been running the whole time and knocked down, it's clearly Akasaka's got a bit more endurance than this guy, potentially. The Shikiina guy writes, "I've come to help you." The boy, those were the words he was waiting for the most. But the crisis was still not over. That was because even though he was still clutching at his side, the man had gotten up again and had taken a fighting stance. I could see in the man's eyes the resentment and the pain I had caused him and the confidence that he could still beat me. If we were to clash head-on again, he might not even stop if my head would slip open. "Stop resisting. Surrender quietly. Just hand the boy over. Do you want me to snap your neck? Who will listen to you now? Reinforcements are already on their way. There's nowhere for you to run." The man reacted adversely to the word reinforcements. That was because he now knew that arguing like this wasn't just a waste of time, but put him closer and closer to danger. Realizing that, the man shifted mental gears almost too quickly. "Let's finish this fast. How about this?" What the man pulled from his back pocket was, of all things, a gun. Of course, I'm a police officer. It's not like I don't know what a gun is. But having one pointing at me was something I'd never experienced before. Like Ooishi pointed out, he's like, "That's gonna shave a few years off your life there." Akasaga's like, "Oh shit. Was it real?" Of course it was. There's no way it'd be a replica in a situation like this. Put both your hands behind your back and lay down quietly. Don't get cocky, you villain. I won't do anything you say. You stupid idiot baka! Do you not know what this is without me shooting you with it? Let's actually see. He probably does say it like that, but, you know, just for the hell of it. And... once again forgets the because that doesn't look like the characters from Baka right there. So what is that? Let's see. Well, that's Kuso actually. It's basically saying damn it. He's not saying idiots. Saying idiot somewhere around here. Oh no, Kuso, blah blah blah, God. Maybe, I don't know, does idiot have kanji characters? Let's have a look. I can't quite remember the hiragana character there. So, okay, it's not. Where are you? Oh, yeah, it does. Those are the kinds of characters for idiots. So, essentially saying, Kono Kuso Bakaga! So, I imagine, like I said, Kuso can mean damn, so I imagine he's probably saying, you damn idiot! So, that's something. So, it's not just you stupid idiot, you damn idiots! Then shoot! Reinforcements will hear the gunshot and head right over here. Are you stupid? We're in the middle of the forest, and on top of that, it's raining. They'll never hear a thing. Let's go back to that. Just like see if he words it differently every time or not. Nope, saying Bakaga again. Wow. That's for forest, right? Look at that, it's fitting. I mean, look at it, it looks like trees, so it makes sense, you know. It's kind of fitting how it does that sometimes. Shikamo Kono Ameda. I think Ame is rain. Like, I know the kanji card for rain. Is it Ame or Ami? I can't remember which one. It's one of the few kanji characters that I can actually recognize, you know. Anyways, back to the plots. As long as he still held that gun, no matter how much I yelled at him, I was at a distinct disadvantage. But I still had a fighting chance. By wearing his shoes, instead of wasting time yelling at each other like this, I would just shoot him and take the boy. That way there was the fastest and would suppress any sort of further resistance from it. But the man was demanding my surrender without having to find a shot, meaning that he either didn't want to shoot or couldn't. In other words, the man in front of me was soft. If I could buy even just a little more time, the fact is that would lead to my victory with Nimbus. Ooishi was probably on his way, and the reinforcements we called for before coming here should already be well on their way too. Not only that, they should have contacted the local police box. Very doubt somebody stationed in the village would be here much quicker than that. Damn it! Do I have to put a bullet in you to understand how dangerous this thing is? There's no escape. Don't add to your crimes. That moment I heard the rustling of foliage and heavy footsteps approaching. Ooishi was coming here. It was a whole new ball game. The man couldn't have more than one gun. Ooishi-san! Over here! Over here! I had thought that time was on my side, but I'd failed to even imagine that the enemy could also have reinforcements. You could tell the man who had disappeared was one of the perpetrators just by looking at him. What are you doing? If you don't hurry up, the police will get in. Stop lollygagging. Damn it. What happened to Ooishi-san? Ah, that chubby fella. He's down for a count. He is? Damn it. Kasa! The boy, sensitive to the impending danger, curled up behind my back. How could it be? Damn it! Your buddy isn't coming. Serves you right. Shoes on the other foot now. As I backed up against a large tree while still protecting the boy, the second man also pulled out a gun. Won't be saying this twice, but here's a... Your end on your end and lie down. What? No. Won't be saying this twice. Put your hands on your head and lie down. I refuse. Bang! As I shouted in protest, blood erupted from my left shoulder. It took a few moments to register that I had been shot. That's what I was thinking. It's like, you know, they don't have to shoot him, you know, for the kill. They can just, like, shoot him in the shoulder, anywhere where it's not fatal, to pretty much show him. It's like, I ain't afraid to use this, you motherfucker! And it disables him a bit. Compared to the ones from in movies and TV dramas, the first actual gunshot I heard was simple and mundane. In fact, the sound was more akin to the small fireworks I used to buy from the corner store as a kid. But there was no comparing the pain. It was a fear you know only after you've been shot. Sir, are you okay? Are you okay? The boy in his confusion tugged at my clues, agitating the wound even further. I wanted to put on a bold face and reassure him, but my voice was hoarse and had the opposite effect. I'm alright. I've already called for backup. There'll be a full squad here soon. It'll be quicker to put on through your head before the cops get here. Their family said no need us to kill it, so I'm taking it easy on you. Don't mess with me or I ain't holding back. This was bad. It was very, very bad. The second man was a completely different beast than the first. And I think he was the guy that, like, when we first saw the kidnappers, it was the old guy that's speaking now that seemed like the softer of the two. Turned out to be a bit the other way around. He had no signs of indecisiveness or mercy. I suppose that's probably why. He's older, so he's like, I'm not gonna take your shit, youngin'. If this man said he'd shoot, he'd shoot. He wasn't somebody that a man like me could buy time from. I really hated to admit it, but at that moment, the image of Yuki's smiling face crossed the back of my mind. I knew what that meant. I was warning myself to not throw my life away over a matter of pride. Of course, I didn't want to die here. I was just starting a new life with Yuki. I wanted to see the face of our soon-to-be-born child. Why should I risk my life for some minister's grandson when I was at such a critical juncture in my own life? Ah, damn it! I need to stop rambling at myself. So what do I do now? Give up the boy and extend my own life? What a good deal. I got an idea. Everybody's life is precious. My own life was in danger. Nobody would blame me. Damn it, it hurts. If I had known it would be this painful, I wouldn't have played the tough guy. My biggest miscalculation, though, was that the sound of the gunshot was far quieter than I had imagined. If it was only that loud, I would be drowned out by the rain. It would be drowned out by the rain in the forest. It wasn't something that somebody far away could hear. Damn it! Just wait! I don't want to die! And I don't want to kill you. As long as you understand. Don't shoot, okay? Don't shoot. I have a wife waiting for me at home. I don't want to die. I'll shoot as long as you don't yell or nothing. Just quietly put your hands on your head and lie down. Will you really? You'll keep your promise, right? This is a promise between men. I will. Promise between men. Keep your promise. Keep it. I'm going to get down on the ground, okay? I'm getting down. I'll keep my promise, so stop pointing that gun at me. You're still thinking of shooting me, aren't you? You want to shoot me, don't you? When I get down on the ground, you're just going to shoot me in the back of the head, aren't you? I won't. Fine. I'll put it away. I'll put the gun away. It's a promise between men. There. No problem now, right? Absolutely no complaints. Wow, that was lucky for Akasaka then, isn't it? It was over in a flash. The moment he loaded his gun, Ooishi didn't let his chance slip by. Ooishi had been assessing the situation for quite some time from behind the two men. But since they had their guns trained on me, he didn't really have a chance to jump in. Seeing the look on Ooishi's face indicating that he wanted me to create an opening, I took on that role completely. Oh, so he's put on an act. Well, probably a combination of him being like, but I want to see my wife again. I've got a child, I've got so much to do in my life. Don't shoot me. That combined with, okay, Ooishi's here, so I can salvage this, but still look like a bit of a pussy. I mean, really, if you were in a situation where someone had a gun on you, wouldn't you kind of break down a bit? Ooishi forcefully lifted the arm that was holding the gun. He then took the gun from the man's hand in only an instant. The other man, who was a bit slow in grasping what was happening, pointed his gun at them, but with his ally grappling with Ooishi, he couldn't pull the trigger. If that man was the one that was wrestling with Ooishi at the moment, he might have shot without hesitation. But this man wouldn't shoot. He couldn't shoot. Ooishi kicked the other man away, and while aiming the stolen gun with his left hand, pulled out his own. With guns akimbo, he was aiming at both men at the same time. I can't remember, I think I've heard that for kimbo. Is that the word for dual-wielding guns or something like that? I don't believe that's checkmate. It was perfectly played. But heedless of the guns pointed at them, the men shouted, "Scram!" as they scattered away at full speed. It was over in an instant. Those two running away without putting up a fight was honestly unexpected. Ooishi quickly clicking his tongue in admonishments, slipped both guns into his pants pockets. And he's just like, what he says is like, he's never fired a gun despite, all his years in the force. And it still continues even after that situation. Those guys know their stuff. What do you mean? If someone fire at somebody who's fleeing, I ought to keep my pension here. Ooishi and I grinned at each other. Are you Toshiki Inagai, the grandson of the Minister of Construction Inagai? Yes. It's going to be a major instance. We probably only cut the tail off the lizard though. Ooishi smiled amusedly. The fact that the Onagafuchi Defense Alliance, or rather the Sonozaki family behind him, was pulling the strings was apparent, proving it wouldn't be easy. And with apologies to Ooishi, this incident was unlikely to go public. If this caused an uproar, it would obviously lead to the minister losing his office. If HQ hadn't decided that doing so was in the national interest, this would probably be cleaned up quietly. It might be a rough way of saying it, but this was born in the shadows and was going to die in the shadows. Ooishi probably already understood the implications behind his incident. For the time being, let's cordon off the area, since it seems that one of them still has a gun. After that, let's get Tsunagai-kun to safety and get you to the hospital. As the tension in the situation faded, the pain from the gunshot wound in my shoulder blossomed once again. My forehead was also stinging painfully and had grown hot enough to start a fire. Thinking that the tension had caused me to sweat, so I wiped my forehead, but what came off was a large amount of blood. I realized that my shirt had been stained bright crimson from the blood flowing from my head. I turned around. The boy was safe and sound, without a doubt. There would probably be an investigation on the man who ran, but that was for another day. At this point in time, I could safely say we had cleared the major hurdle of securing the boy's safety. As soon as I recognized that, I felt like the lights in my head had been hit by a power failure. Akasaka.x stopped working, rebooting. My knees buckled from underneath me, the ground air feeling as soft as a cloud. It didn't feel unpleasant, even as I was covered in the rain-soaked mud. Ooishi came closer asking if I was okay, but somehow I couldn't tell. I turned off the switch to the last light in my head. The exhaustion enveloped me. Sleep. Something softer than any blanket wrapped around me. New tip's a very kind person. Well, it's just a tip now, isn't it? It's just one of them. Achievement unlocked. Mission accomplished. 42 minutes for applause. Hooray. So, let's save our game novel. You have to go to the second page now because there's just that many of them. So, we're pretty much near the end of this question arc, which is the last question arc, and then we'll move on to the answer arcs eventually afterwards. So yeah, what do you think of this one so far? I mean, it isn't over yet, but it's very short, isn't it? Anyways, see you next time, viewers. See you next time.